the offense is 100 times better. So you're with a 1 to 100 ratio in moves. So the concepts that these coaches go by, this grit and grind, these defensive this and that, that's gone. That's done. That era is over.
Welcome to No Chill with Gilbert Arenas. I'm Mike Botticello. Gilbert Arenas, decked out in all yellow.
Yeah, you feel me?
Like, that means slow down. But I like it.
I do too. It's like mustard yellow.
Some Adidas drip.
Yeah, a little mustard yellow.
3 stripes.
Yeah.
Gil, so, you know they say you win some, you lose some.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to win some, just get yourself some skill.
Yes, always.
That's what we're figuring out here, and that's what we're seeing actually in the postseason. And Candace Parker said it after the Knicks lost. Sorry, New York. We got you. It was going to happen. So again, it said, all the basketball purists that scream from the mountaintops about defense and hustle beat offense and skill. See Knicks and Hawks series. I can teach a dude that can easily drop 30 to play team defense more than a hustle and heart to shoot the basketball. Yeah, you were just like golf clap on that one.
That's a real clap. That's not
standing up.
Yes, and the stamp of approval is from a defensive player of the year. Mm-hmm. She was a defense player of the year, and she's telling you this. This is not like just an offensive guy who's like defense. A defensive player who actually has skill is saying this. That's what makes it more powerful. And because the game has changed over the years, back in the 60s, 50s, defense to offense was 1-1, right? Actually, defense was a little advanced over the offense. Well, it's 2021. That same defense hasn't evolved. The same concepts. Below the free throw line, push them this way. They've taken off the advantages of hand checking, this and that. Push the guy to his weak hand, double, high pick and roll, hard show. You can't shoot, go under. Trap the aggressive guy. Like that hasn't actually changed. What's changed is the offense. The offense is 100 times better. So you're with a 1 to 100 ratio in moves. So the concepts that these coaches go by, this grit and grind, these defensive this and that, that's gone. That's done. That era is over. You cannot survive. You cannot survive if your concept is defense is going to win us championships. It doesn't exist anymore.
Well, what happens there is, if you go all the way back to the 50s, if defense was one thing, and it was basically defense wins championships, right? So our defense is played this way, it can stop any kind of offense. Well, offense evolved, defense didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So, because offense has evolved, this concept of, we need to grit and grind type of defense and this and this. Like, well, if your whole team is grit and grind, how are you actually going to put the ball in the basket? Like, it's a disadvantage. That's why these old concepts, like these coaches actually need to really do an evaluation on themselves. Because it takes real coaching to say, you know what? I need to really look at this from an outside step. I was taught this is how these concepts go, but have I actually ever put them in situational? Is the theory actually, have I tried to debunk these theories?
Well, let's do this. Take two singularly minded coaches, an offensive minded coach and a defensive minded coach. So let's say Mike D'Antoni and Tom Thibodeau, right? Mm-hmm. Whose team wins and why?
In a 7-game series?
Okay.
obviously Mike D'Antoni's team will win.
Then how come he hasn't won a championship?
How come Thibodeau hasn't won a championship? I mean, what
No,
the fuck
I'm
does that mean?
I'm starting with D'Antoni.
I know.
I'm starting with D'Antoni.
How come the other one hasn't won a
Right,
championship?
right. Okay, well.
You know what I mean? So
Don't flip it like that.
Because you still got to have the right pieces to win championships. Neither have had right pieces. Like small ball and all of it. Like there's still right pieces at the right time when it comes to those kind of concepts. Who's been more successful?
I'll say D'Antoni.
Okay.
And let's say Tibbs has 5 lockdown defenders. Wouldn't that stop whatever system D'Antoni's team throws at them? You can't go anywhere. Defense has you.
I don't know how to say no in different languages, but no. Like you have 5 lockdown defenders, right? I have 5 scores, right? How much energy is your guys pushing to stop these 5 scores?
All of it.
All of it, right? And then when these 5 scores go on defense, the fuck are they doing? Nothing. Because there's nothing you can do. You don't have offense.
But
you don't have offense.
But that old defense wins championships. Defense creates offense off turnovers, steals, blocks.
We're talking professional basketball. You're not getting.
That's what we're getting.
You're not getting 400 steals, and you're going to be getting a bunch of fast breaks. Like you making me take tough shots. I get into half-court defense. How are you going to score if none of your players have skill? You want it easier for LeBron. You put in better scores.
And that's
Bugatti, Honda means these Bugattis have to go 200 miles an hour just to keep it fair. This is the real key to why you don't have a pure defensive guy trying to neutralize an offensive player. Will it take me? Don't play defense, right? Like that. And I have to guard, let's say I'm playing against the Lakers. I'm playing against, Caruso, and his job is to stop me. I'm coming at him 100 miles an hour, right? Where do I take my break?
defense.
On defense.
Yeah.
He's in the corner. I'm doing this. What is he gonna do? Sit in the corner. He's not gonna, I don't have to look at him, which means is I'm never gonna be in foul trouble. So if you look at Booker and Chris Paul, the only time Booker was in foul troubles is when Dennis Schroeder was going off. Because now you have to guard that.
But wait, isn't that simple basketball for any team, any situation? If I want to put an offensive player to work, go at him.
Yeah, that's you. To stop a lion, you need a lion. You need someone just as aggressive because you put pressure on each other. Now he's working on both ends of the court. So what ends up happening is if that offensive player is allowed to play one-sided basketball, meaning this guy is not a threat. Now you have a lineup which when people say, oh, the Lakers is this and this, true. It's the lineup more than the players. Here's why. If you have Anthony Davis and LeBron James, right? And then you have 3 non-shooters or 3 non-creators, right? You're gonna be in a corner, slot, right? While they're trying to do their pick and roll. With the other 3 players, we know you're not gonna backdoor, you're not gonna go for a lob, you're not gonna, if you do catch the ball, you're not gonna create anything, you're gonna pass it right back to those guys. That means 10 eyes are sitting on those 2 guys. So now it's 2 versus 5 on defense. Now you're talking about a 35-year-old guy. You have to work harder with that lineup. So when they say LeBron looks slow, yeah, he looks slow because he has to go through 5 guys all the time because they want spacing. No, it works the other way. You want it easier for LeBron, you put in better scores.
And that's
Bugatti, Honda means these Bugattis have to go 200 miles an hour just to keep it fair.
what happens when one of those Bugattis is in the garage.
Now one is in the garage. You don't put another Honda.
That's what they got.
No, they don't. They have scoring guys or aggressive scoring guys. With THT, he should have been in. He should have been playing 30. Like, I don't need someone that's going to play 30 minutes to give me 0 points. 30 minutes, 2 points. 29 minutes, 0. That is ridiculous. I do not need that output. You put 20, because the guy you're guarding in the same 29 minutes has 20-something points. So your good defense really didn't do anything if you scored 0.
And what you're saying is if I average 30 and you hold me to 22,
and you scored,
good job, but you didn't do really anything to compensate on the other end.
Yes.
But let's look at the Lakers, because that's where everyone has the microscope, fully dialed in. And let's say this, they got exposed for what they don't have.
One, because I look at the game from a chess standpoint, and I don't think they played chess in this matchup. You played Lakers basketball. You played, we need to be defensive stoppers. Isn't LeBron a defensive player? Isn't AD a defensive player? What more defense do you need? Huh? What more defense do you actually need?
Shorter. Defensive player?
How much defense did the Suns have? Who on that team is a lockdown defender? Chris Paul, that's it. Nobody else on that team is considered a defense to nothing. And you are an NBA team that scored 10 points in a quarter. In a 12-minute quarter, 10 points. So what are you doing offensively that gives you 10 points against a group that don't actually play defense? That is not Kawhi Leonard over there. That ain't Rudy Gobert over there. That ain't a Paul George over there. That ain't Klay Thompson over there. That ain't Draymond Green over there. And you managed to score 10, 15, and 16 in quarters? Because what you're doing offensively to your team. You got four, if you won 4, think about it. You got Michael Jordan and you put 4 Dennis Rodmans on the court. What? How many points do you think they're going to score?
I wouldn't even say that Michael Jordan, but
even if you have Michael Jordan ain't gonna, he has to go through 5 guys now. It makes it harder. It's 5 against 1 now. Because these guys do not produce anything. Why are we guarding them? We're just gonna load up on Mike. Mike is gonna pass it, they're gonna pass it back. Pass it back. It's gonna be semi-pro. Pass it. Hey, that's all the Lakers look like for the most part. Like, so when I say chess, I'm sitting here like do something different. Like, if you know their whole scheme is controlling tempo. Chris Paul, the best point guard in history, assist to turnover ratio. That means he's gonna make the best possible play every single time down, right? And then you have Booker, a one-on-one juggernaut at the 1 and 2. Why? And then on defense, those guys don't have to guard anybody. How do you challenge these two? If you ruffle these two up, the game's over. I knew it was a problem. The problem was last year. They didn't see it because they won a championship. They won a championship.
with a bigger lineup.
No, it was the same thing.
Well, I mean, yes, you still have Drummond, you still have Gasol, they still have bigs like that, but they use
But what
White
I'm saying
and
is,
JaVale to an advantage.
But you were playing. You lost 2 games to a mediocre team. The fact that you guys are giants, and for the most part, you're athletic giants. This series would have started off LeBron at the point like he is, right? You're the point. Schroeder, sorry, I don't need you right now. Bring in Kuzma at the 2. Anthony Davis, you're the 3. Who is he guarding? Crowder in the corner. Okay. Crowder is allergic to anything inside the 3-point line, so I'm not worrying about him driving. The 4, Trez. The 5, Drummond. Now, people be like, man, that's dumb. They gonna get beat off the dribble. Who's gonna beat them off the dribble? Chris Paul ain't blowing by nobody. He ain't John Wall in it. He's gonna sit there methodical, do this, do that. So I'm not really worried about him going anywhere. And if he wants to play ISO basketball, great. But I'm long enough to get to any shot that's out there. Any corner shot, I'm long enough to recover. If you even think about going to the basket, I have 5 guys that are jumping at that shot, right? But the biggest key, if you're the Suns, who are you sticking Chris Paul and Booker on?
Okay, so there's a lot going on there, and what you're saying is that is the Lakers' basically death lineup. That's they should have gone with, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, let's acknowledge it. AD was injured. So what they needed to was adjust their lineup based on his injury.
AD, I'm talking about before AD was
right,
injured,
right.
going into that series.
So the question mark was, what happened with Trez? That's the guy. You had a 6th man of the year, lost for the series. That's where you could have, to me, that was
you're
a difference
losing
maker.
8. That's what I'm saying, because you're thinking, oh, he's a liability on defense. Like, let's say you're using this as a liability. What about their liabilities on defense? Chris Paul got to guard LeBron or Kuzma post. Whoever he's not guarding, Booker has to guard. That means now Booker or CP3 has to actually play defense, and LeBron is going to put him in the post. You have to double. From there, it's slash to the basket, attacking that back line. Now that's a chess game. On their side, they're going to try to ISO to get you to move. Hopefully they're scoring so you can put the guards back in so they can go back to their advantage. You're staying big so you can keep it. It's chess.
I'm pushing your strength with my strength and see who's wins.
Yeah, see who's wins. Like right now, if I keep Schroeder in or KCP in or Caruso, they're not going to challenge Chris Paul and Booker. So Booker and them are just offensively guided.
But even how things started out, you would say that I'll put Schroeder against Chris Paul. And basically,
I don't want that.
Who doesn't want that?
I don't want that.
Who doesn't want that?
As a coach, I don't want that lineup. What does it get me?
For the Lakers, you're basically saying we'll neutralize the head of the snake.
How? How does that neutralize him? All he's gonna do a pick and roll, get Shooter off of him. Shooter's now with a big man, Aiden, right?
But shouldn't you say I'll let...
Think about it. Shooter's with an Aiden because they switch everything. So Shooter's down there with an Aiden. They're gonna pass it to Aiden, right? We got a double. You got to double that. Pass it back out. Chris Paul gets it. Wind down. Boom, boom, boom. Well, if Kuzma or LeBron is sticking what's the name, and then they do that pick and roll, there's no double ever. There's no double ever. So now you force Chris Paul to just be a one-on-one player, no rotations, which is going to turn into a jumper, step back jumper somewhere, because he's not athletic at this point to really get to the basket over all these guys. Same thing with Booker. Booker's going to be going against Kuzma, what's the name? Same thing. He's going to have to do this 1-2 pull-up because going to that basket, it's going to be a lot of bigs down there. So it makes their offense harder, but the key part of it is they actually have to play defense now. And that's the key. See, I knew it was a problem. The problem was last year. They didn't see it because they won a championship. Right? They won a championship.
With a bigger lineup.
No, it was the same thing.
Well, I mean, yes, you still have Drummond, you still have Gasol, they still have bigs like that, but they used
But what I'm
Dwight
saying
and
is,
JaVale to an advantage.
But you were playing. You lost 2 games to a mediocre team.
Yeah.
Mediocre at best. Like that's real. Like you see what happened this year. Like even take away this year, right? And people say like, Miami is nice. Miami's nice. Okay, if they're that nice, is anybody on that team a top 20 player? Right?
We talked about that. The
top
thing
20.
is they overachieve.
Anybody on the top 20?
No.
No, right? It's like you're trying to give away a championship with the lineups you're putting up. Like I was looking at lineups like, yo, how are you not complaining about this? Like I will be furious as an offensive player that your man is just sitting there doing this to me. Like damn, like back cut or something, do something. Like make him move. He's just looking, and I'm gonna pass it to you.
That was a weakness that got
you're gonna
exposed.
pass it back. Like I don't no. That's why like certain guys should have been in. This was a series where you needed offense.
Yeah, and I'll say this: watching the Lakers play, that's exactly what you're seeing. It's not a lot of action. There's a lot of ball watchers.
Yeah, ball. Yeah, that's what I said. Is ball watching, and it really puts a number on LeBron
Your
James
stars
and Anthony Davis. You need more offense to alleviate the pressure that those guys is on.
How do you fix the Lakers?
Get some scores in there. Get some scores in there. When you think about defensive teams, really think about the actual players on the team. Detroit Pistons with Chauncey Billups. Chauncey Billups was skilled, was the scorer. Big game Chauncey, right? Rip. Skilled. Didn't even play defense. Didn't even play defense. Tayshaun Prince, defense juggernaut, skilled offensive player. Rasheed Wallace, skilled four-man, skilled four-man, defensive player. And then they have one guy who couldn't put the ball in the basket.
Put backs and lobs, yeah.
But you have 4 defensive players on that court. And what did that offense, what did Ben Wallace do the most? Pick and roll, run into screens. Like he at least made Shaquille O'Neal run. You gotta remember, if Shaq is guarding him, Shaq is sitting there like, well, if he's running to go set a pick and roll and Chauncey's coming off 3, 2, 3. Now Shaq has to actually go play defense. Now he's sitting in pick and rolls. Now everybody's attacking him because Ben Wallace found a way to make himself useful. Pick, back pick. Everybody's now attacking that basket, attacking Shaq, and Shaq is in foul trouble. And Shaq is in foul trouble against a guy he ain't even got to guard because that guy was smart enough to make himself useful. He ain't just sitting there.
And a coach, Larry Brown.
No, random.
You don't think he recognized what he had? That's the important thing. That's what we were talking about with Vogel. Recognize what you have with your players, what they can't do, and what they can do.
Players that just go out of the system to do things they do. That is the player. Kerr ain't telling Draymond to do what Draymond does. Draymond does what Draymond does. Draymond is pick and roll, back, drive, kick it, do it like he's the one that does it. And you see it and you allow it to keep going because it's successful.
Okay, so it's this. How do you fix the Lakers?
Come again?
How do you fix the Lakers?
Get some scores in there. Get some scores in there. I mean, it's showtime. This is not grinding
Right.
basketball.
So they said AD is the future. LeBron, it's his team. We're gonna build around. So it's like the chess board. You got the queen and the king on the board, right? And your other players that you feel around it, are they one player away? One score away?
I mean, it was being healthy away, lineup away. The team you have was good enough to make it to the fight. You just didn't play the guys that could have got you there.
And your main guys weren't 100%.
Like TNT, the THT, he would have been playing 25 minutes. Because I know in those 25 minutes, he would have took about 15 shots. That's the aggression I need. That means, why? Because you didn't scout that type of player. You can't scout that type of player. And if you are scouting that type of player, that means pressure is coming off those guys. Because the scouting report clearly showed you didn't care about the rest of that team. You're just sitting here doing this. 5-on-5, but we're all helping you. We're gonna make it hard for you in here. Well, with a guy who's rogue, now you have to make a game plan for him. Trez pick and roll. Now goddamn, we got to make him. Now we can't even focus on him because now Trez is diving and doing like you. The playoffs, they know everything. You can't have that type of weakness. Like New York, you got the Nitty kid, right?
Ntilikina.
Great kid. Great kid. But 2 minutes here, maybe 5 minutes here. Trae Young is on fire, and we need you to neutralize him, rough him up or something, and get him all set. Yeah. 20, 30 minutes? No. No, this ain't that grit and grind. This is not 1984, 5, 6, whatever year that was.
Here's the word. It's not too smart. Motor. That's what you hear about a player coming up in the draft. The love is motor, right? But when you get to be a pro, what does that motor get you? I'd rather have
I don't even know what that means.
Hustle.
What the a hustle guy for? I like his motor.
That's what Candace was saying, that if you have skill, it'll beat all that motor stuff.
Yeah, what the motor gonna do? Just overexert itself and get in foul trouble because he's overzealous like he's on 10 Red Bulls? Cool.
Right, because the game comes down to scoring and shooting. If you have that ability to knock down shots, get a bucket for yourself, that'll beat all those other.
You gotta remember, this is how you judge a player. In the 82-game series, right? I mean, 82, if we play 82 and I gotta play against you 82 times, who do you think wins? The defense or the offense? 100 out of all 82
100% of the time?
games, out of all 82 games, the offense actually wins.
Because of the rules?
No. Because if you're a defensive player, what is going to be your career high in those 82 games? Maybe 10, 15 points? So this offensive guy is going to actually put up better numbers than you in all 82 games. Looking at the players and saying, hey, you're not good enough to carry your team? And as much as a superstar wants to say it, they just can't. Do you see what I'm carrying? Do you see this luggage here? Do you see what I'm dealing with here?
Now the other thing, look at Portland and Dame, and talk about skill. All the skill in the world, plays his that goes for 55, still loses. He's got help. Maybe not another superstar on that team. What do you do with that? You've got all the skill in the world, what you're saying, going offense, but it just gets to a point where you need more in your teammate, in the roster.
That's one of those teams that if you're Dame, you're gonna be frustrated with, because you've been the same team. You've been the same team for the last 5 years now. That 3 to 6 seed. You know what I mean? And you know, there's no progression up. There's no getting better, and you're watching other teams, superstars are connecting, they're winning, and this, and you're this loyal player to the organization. You put your work in, you dedicate, you don't cause no havoc. You're a professional, you're a gamer, so frustrations will occur sooner than later.
That frustration comes from heartbreak. Every year when you lose, when you put your all into it, not that other players don't do that, but it just gets to a point where we saw it with KD. It was just like, man, I'm doing the same thing every year.
Yeah, because you got to remember, as a player, it just in I guess in life period, you hit this plateau of something, right? No matter what you're going for, you get here. You're training and you're excited and you're preparing to go to the next step. But this step goes backwards. So you train harder and harder and harder, and you go backwards. You go harder, harder, harder. You stay right here. And then you go one step up. Then you go one step back. And then you go, and you're thinking about, we were third. We were second. We needed one piece then. Like, now we need two pieces. Now we need 2.5 pieces. Like, what? You start questioning.
But you don't question your training. Well, you just said you put all your work into do everything you have to do, but it's about who surrounds you.
Yeah,
what they surround you with.
You're going to start questioning the choices the upper management makes. It's like, and that's a tricky thing because when you're dealing with today's media, that's the last group that anybody wants to question. And that's the first group that everybody needs to question is these rosters, who is actually picking them? It's like you're looking at the players and saying, hey, you're not good enough to carry your team. And as much as a superstar wants to say it, they just can't. Do you see what I'm carrying? Do you see this luggage here? Do you see what I'm dealing with here? But they're never gonna do that. So you're blaming the record on the players who's actually dedicating themselves, who's going out there in the summer, changing their bodies, like getting fit, losing body fat, getting stronger, getting bigger, getting faster. Everybody's working their asses off. Everybody's coming into shape, hoping and thinking this year is gonna be the year. And then them rosters are coming in. And then you start looking around and you realize that, not as good
because training, skill, strength, and conditioning, all those things, you can work your ass off for, but it's the IQ. You either have that or you don't.
Sometimes you just don't have enough talent on your team.
Or that.
You ever thought about that? You just don't have enough talent on your team to compete in the NBA.
So when do you make a move? When do you take control of your future?
When it starts being about winning and stops being about money. That's gonna always be money.
Well,
like I said it long. Hey,
isn't it both?
Someone told me this. He said, I'm gonna give you a team and you're gonna be the owner for 10 years. I said, okay, yeah. Do I get a number 1 pick? He says, nah, relax. He said, on one hand, you have 2 options here. One hand, after your 10 years is done, you can have 5 championships and $200 million, right? You can have 0 championships and $5 billion. Which road do you take? And he said, exactly. I'm a businessman. This is a business. I want the $5 billion.
Yeah, how about one championship and
I want the $5 billion. And that's it. You got to remember, these championships, the reason the money is not, I have to pay for the talent to compete at that level. I have to pay this guy to come in here to help, but he won't sell one ticket because Allen Iverson's selling them all. So I'm gonna milk this shit out of Allen Iverson. Top dollar without spending it. And that's the problem, but no one wants to ever say it. It's a business. This was something I heard, Allen Iverson in Philly, right? Sold out arena. Got him to the finals, right? They just needed one more player. What was the mindset? Why am I gonna play another max player if he's selling out every arena? If he's selling out every seat in this arena, why am I gonna pay someone $20 million to sell not one seat?
To win.
He won't sell one seat. I just wasted $24 million. That's the mindset. I have to pay this guy to come in here to help, but he won't sell one ticket because Allen Iverson's selling them all. So I'm gonna milk this shit out of Allen Iverson. Top dollar without spending it. And that's the problem, but no one wants to ever say it. It's a business. It's changing now because you have the billionaire guys coming in that are basketball fans, and they're gonna like you can see Mark Cuban's teams. They fluctuate, they change. He's trying to figure out how to keep making it better. He's paying, that's the type of guy that you don't mind having 20 knee surgeries for, because he's gonna pay you in return. Like Barrera, $2 million, 1.5, just for an extra year. Thank you for the championship 10 years ago.
But wouldn't it be easier, I'm thinking of Steve Ballmer too, if you take a team that's historically bad, the Mavericks were when Cuban took over, it's only one way to go but up. And you clean up a lot of that stuff that wasn't there before. You start paying players well. Build a culture.
Clippers took some powerful moves, with, paying. We just got to keep seeing where they go. Like, you just got to, as fans, you guys are dedicated to your team. Demand the same from the owners. Like, you got to demand these owners, really go in and say, wait, hold on, you guys. You're not going to sell me on this shit this year. We won 15 games last year. You got nobody new. We're going to win 15 games next year. I'm good. You can keep my season tickets. Nah. I'll wait till you actually bring some players in for you to get my support.
Right.
When that starts happening, trust me, owners just be like, all right, let me go ahead and
Well, those billionaires are competitive too. So, eventually, selling seats is nice, but winning is what they want.
Well, now, because think about it. Back then, if you bought your team for $1 million and you're one of those old owners, you've done made your money 100 folds over. So you don't really.
Back then, actually.
So got to remember, spending money, that's all you're going to actually be doing to try to win. So at this point, it's just still collecting checks. Now, if I come in and I buy a team for $2 billion, oh, no. For me to get this, I need to win. I need to, get people in this building. So I need to increase my value by winning. So the new owners is the ones that's coming in, shaking it up. So when people are saying, man, these guys are teaming up and this is bull, who you think is paying them? Who you thinking? They're thinking, okay, you're the Clippers. Hey, give me your checkbook. I'm gonna sign myself 100 million. I'm gonna give my guy 200 million. Like, no, you're like, hey, I'll take you and you. Here. Who else y'all got in there? Who else wants to come? Yeah? That's what they're doing. They're trying to win now. Like that guy, come on, New Jersey? Like, come on. This man is trying to buy everybody.
Talking about Brooklyn, but yeah, they made
Brooklyn.
themselves relevant.
Yeah, you're trying to buy, you got KD, you got Kyrie, then you get Harden, then you get Blake, and then you go after Aldridge. What? This is, you don't get it.
It's funny. When you want talent, the talent
That's what I'm
finds you.
saying. When you want talent,
They find you.
you can get it.
They find
no,
you.
No. They don't find you. You can get it.
So let's do this.
Yeah, come on, you can get any. Come on, let's
Everyone's got a price.
Let's just be honest. When you're a billionaire, you can get anything you want to do.
Yeah.
You can get anything you want to do. You can like.
Let's keep it PG, but I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
You can get whatever you want. Let's just say for shits and giggles, Booker's up. You don't think if the Clippers, the Lakers, or New Jersey Nets wanted Booker, they can't outpay? I don't care what that pay scale says that Phoenix can do. Trust me, they can get that. Come on, rich people know how to get around shit. They know how to get around shit and here and
luxury tax.
But I mean that luxury. Yeah, what I'm saying is they know. Hey, listen. Hey, you want to come here? How much you want? $250? I got some foundations that I can donate to or whatever. And, this is what we can do on paper. Like, come on, these are billionaires. Come on. So if your team really wants to compete, they can compete if they want to. Stop listening. Like that luxury tax shit is laughable at best for these guys. So if they want to get somebody that they want, trust me, they can get it. But they're not looking. They're looking for dollars.
All right, well, let's do this. Let's make you the owner. And based on what we've talked about, money is probably the number one thing. But
how much money are you giving me?
I don't know. It's your money, actually.
So, I mean, like, I'm not the richest man.
You got billionaire status.
Boom!
All right,
Okay.
as an owner.
Yeah.
But you're looking at it as a competitor. You're building a team based on skill. How do you make all those pieces fit?
You find pieces that fit.
But why don't you just, okay, I'm going to get the top 5 scorers in the league.
Because maybe those top 5 scorers play in the same realm. So if they play in the same realm, then they're going to clash. So that, like,
what you need to do.
So that's what ends up happening. Like, the people who are picking players have to understand basketball.
Exactly.
You have to understand basketball. You have to understand who goes well with what. Think about Dennis Rodman, people. I mean, no offense to Dennis Rodman, he's a Hall of Famer, he's this, but he partied 24/7, right? You can't be skillful partying 24/7 is all I'm saying.
Well, I'll say this so we can get out on this, because you called me last night. It was probably about 11:30, and it was because you watched the game. And I know if you're watching the game, those things do frustrate you because it's just common sense.
Common sense, like common
basketball,
sense. Common sense. Like, it's just common sense. Like like when I hear someone says, I've been a fan for over 40 years, I will listen to his opinion. Because that means he's watched 40 years of basketball superstars, bust, grinders, prima donnas, like sleepers. Like that person doesn't seen it all. So when they say, hey, they should have did this and this, and he'd be like, because he doesn't have a jaded mind. But someone who's listening to a coach who was taught by somebody else and he's going by the same methods, like you never actually had your own train of thought. This train of thought was created from this person to this person to this person and so on.
Common sense.
It's not common.
It'll take you a long way. Common sense is not common.
Some common sense is not as common as you think.
Very true. All right. Well, for a guy that lives on common sense, Gilbert Arenas, I'm Mike Botticello. This has been No Chill with Gilbert Arenas. One more time, shout out to Candace Parker.
Yeah. Well, my sense ain't that common either. Trust me.
No, that's true. There's nothing common about you. No, not at all.
I really do dumb stuff.
But I think one more time, a round of applause for what Candace Parker said. That hit you right here. And that pulled the heartstrings.
That hit me like, yeah. Get skilled.
Skill.
Skill takes time.
That's true.
It takes time to be skillful.
That doesn't happen overnight.
Okay? I mean, just think about Dennis Rodman, people. I mean, no offense to Dennis Rodman. He's a Hall of Famer. He's this, but he partied 24/7. All right? You can't be skillful partying 24/7 is all I'm saying.
He was a raw athlete, but the skilled athletes
who just played off of.
Raw
it makes,
athleticism.
you know what? The credit is this. For a guy who achieved that type of height, had to be brilliant on that court. Because it takes a different type of mindset to actually understand the elements that he's in, to realize, okay, I don't need to work on my skill. I know what my skill is, and I don't need to work on it because it's a natural. It's naturally what I'm gifted at.
He was a cerebral player, and he just didn't have. He wasn't as polished, right?
Yeah, so he didn't.
Michael Jordan knew I didn't have to worry about Dennis.
But
he said that.
But
only he had to worry about him if he was going to Vegas, but he did not have to worry about him during a basketball game.
If you're spending, like a skilled player spending 12 hours, whatever, in the gym, he's spending 0.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't need to. What I do in this game comes from here. I don't need to sit here and rebound 100 times to learn how to rebound. I just go for that shit. The ball's there. Like that's all he does.
Well, you do need those players, and what Candace was saying is
no, you don't need those
hustle.
players.
You do need a Dennis Rodman. He was successful, but
not anymore.
What you need more than anything.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Hey, what you need more than anything is skill.
Talent.
Right.
Talent.
Talent always wins.
Yeah.